My neighbor Rosa says our garden looks different. She's been saying it for 6 weeks.
About your garden.
Every time she passes the fence, she stops
But
and looks at the raised
I can't
beds and the
put my
path
finger
between
on it.
them and the corner near the old oak tree and
Did
says,
you replant?
"Something
Not
is different
exactly.
about your
What does
garden."
not
And I say,
exactly mean?
"Yes, it is."
Come back
And
in
she
the
says,
evening.
"Did you
The
replant?"
evening
And I
is the
say,
only answer that
"Not
would actually
exactly."
explain anything.
And she says, "What does not exactly mean?" And I
She
say,
will eventually.
"Come back in the
Everyone does
evening," and she
eventually.
hasn't yet. She will eventually. Everyone does eventually. His name is Dig. My roommate Prisha named him on day 2, which felt right immediately, and he has never responded to it in any way we can measure except that things happen near him that suggest he knows. The soil moves
How do you
differently
measure
when we
that?
say his name.
don't know yet.
The garden does
Is that a
something
response?
small and precise that we have learned to read as
Dig?
acknowledgement.
Is that you?
He is a Diglett,
It's
an
like the
actual
whole
physical
garden
Diglett
responds to
living
her.
primarily underground in the backyard of our
is the
rental
whole
house in
garden.
Portland, Oregon, surfacing in the evenings when the light goes low and the garden gets quiet, his small brown head emerging from the soil with the unhurried certainty of something that has always been here and is simply becoming visible.
It's completely
The
different.
garden has changed.
6 weeks.
In 6 weeks,
at
the
the
garden has
volunteer
become
squash on the
something that people
fence.
stop at fences to look at.
Tomatoes are
The raised
enormous.
beds are producing things they have never
Frankly,
produced
this is
before,
unreasonable.
at a rate that our
Thank
neighbor
you.
Rosa described
That's
as
not a
frankly
compliment, it's an
unreasonable,
observation.
and our landlord
How?
described as an
The good soil,
improvement,
The good soil
and
not
Prisha
explaining
described in
itself.
14 pages of field
See,
notes
the
as
network is
consistent
systematic.
with a
Each bed
pattern of
supports the others.
systematic
It's very
underground
clever. You're doing this on
cultivation
Of course,
by
I've been
something that
planning this
knows
since before
exactly
the
what
egg
it's doing.
hatched.
14 pages
Dig
of this?
Already
knows
on
exactly
15.
what he's doing. We are still learning what that is. It was a Wednesday in early September when Prisha found the egg. Not in a forest, not on a beach, not 3 miles into a canyon. In the backyard, between the raised bed and the old oak tree, half buried in the soil in a way that suggested it had either been placed there
It was placed
recently
here
or
recently.
had been there since
Or
before
It
the
was
raised
here
bed was
before
built.
the raised bed.
Prisha was
How
turning the
long
soil
has
for the
this
fall
raised
planting
bed
when her
been
trowel
here?
hit something that
3
was not a
years.
rock. She called me outside. The egg was small,
What is
smaller
it?
than any of the others we'd heard about. The size of a large potato, maybe smaller,
Oh, I see
brown
it.
and smooth and slightly warm. The warmth of something that has been in good soil in September. Sun all day. The surface was not rough, not scaled, not textured.
No texture.
Smooth, the specific smooth of something shaped by soil. The soil having been the mold for the shape. Prisha said it came from here.
Look,
I said,
the soil
"How do
around
you
the egg
know?"
is different
It's
She
darker.
pointed at the soil around
and
it.
richer when you touch
The soil around the
And
egg
more
was different from the
organized.
surrounding soil.
it. How is soil organized?
Darker, richer, more organized.
Tended from
The specific
below.
quality of
Over
soil that has been
explanation for
tended from
soil
below.
quality. Something
We left it in the
below
ground.
Yes.
This was the right decision, though we didn't know it at the time. Every other egg in every other story had been
This
carried
one is
home.
already home.
This one was already
We'd have
home.
been taking it the wrong
Moving it would have
direction.
been the wrong direction.
Yes.
We covered it back up carefully, marked the spot with a small stone, and went inside. Prisha opened her notebook.
And so, Prisha
For 11
begins to
days, the
document
egg
her
stayed in
journey.
the soil,
marked stone in
and the
the
soil
garden
around it
serving as her
continued to be
silent
different
muse.
from the surrounding soil,
Documentation begins.
the difference
The
spreading
boundary is
slowly
further from the
outward
stone
each day. The dark,
marks
rich,
accumulate,
organized
showing its
quality of
spreading.
it moving in
Measuring the
small,
daily
precise
increment, it's
increments
the same
away
amount
from the
each
marked
day.
stone.
The expansion is
On
consistent.
day 4, the raised bed, nearest the stone, started doing something. The soil in the raised bed was moving. Not dramatically. Not visibly if you weren't looking for it. Small, precise
Too
movements
regular
in the
for
top
weather,
layer. The soil
and too
reorganizing
purposeful for
itself in
worms.
patterns that were too regular for weather and too purposeful for worms. Prisha photographed the patterns every morning. By day 7, the
connected.
soil patterns had
What is?
connected.
The
From the
stone,
egg to the
bed,
raised
path,
bed
this
to the
whole
path
section is a
between them,
network.
a
Wow,
network
you're
of
right.
small,
The soil
precise
quality
underground
links
movements that
everything.
had
Look at the whole
changed the
shape.
quality
It's
of the
clear
whole
now.
backyard soil without disturbing a single surface plant.
Nothing new in the raised bed.
On day 9, the first new thing
Wait,
appeared.
the shoot by the
A small
stone.
green
It's
shoot,
grown.
2 inches
Wow, it
from the
wasn't
marked
there
stone
yesterday.
that had not been planted. Prisha checked her planting records twice. Nothing was supposed to be growing there. The shoot was growing anyway, dark green and purposeful,
Planted
coming
this.
up exactly where the underground
She's been
network
there
was
for
densest.
hours, just watching.
She crouched beside
The
it for a
morning's
long
getting
time.
on. Time for
She
coffee.
said, "Something is
go.
gardening." I said, "Yes." She said, "From below?" I said, "Yes." She opened to a new page. On the morning of day 11, I went outside at 6 a.m. and the stone was moved. I almost missed him entirely.
The edges are clean.
The hole where the stone had
The
been
soil
was
around
small,
it is
a
completely
few inches
undisturbed.
across, the edges
The planned
clean and
exit is
precise,
visible in
the
quality
soil
of the
around it
opening.
undisturbed in a way that suggested the exit had been
The shell
planned.
is empty, and
The
there's
egg
nothing
was
on the
gone,
surface.
not
Check the
hatched above
surrounding soil
ground,
for any evidence of
gone
hatching.
below. the hatching having happened in the soil the way the egg had always intended. I was crouching beside the hole trying to understand it when the soil 2 feet away moved, not dramatically. A small rise, a small fall, the movement of something just below the surface moving toward me and then stopping. Then a small brown head emerged, slowly, unhurried, the specific patience of something surfacing because it has decided to surface, not because it was startled or disturbed. Small and brown with a cream-colored face, tiny eyes that were bright and dark and surprisingly alert, no visible body below the soil line, just the head and the expression of something that had been underground for 11 days and had opinions about what it found when it came up. He looked at me. I said, "Oh." He looked at me for another moment. Then he went back down. The soil closed above him as if he had never been there. I sat on the back step for a while. Prisha came out at 6:30 and found me sitting there, and I pointed at the spot and she crouched beside it, and I said, "He came up." And she looked at the spot and then at me and then opened her notebook and said, "Tell me everything." And I told her everything, and she wrote for 11 pages. She named him Dig before I finished the first sentence. 6 weeks later, the situation in the backyard is as follows. Dig surfaces every evening between 6 and 7 p.m. when the light goes low and the garden gets quiet. He emerges from one of 4 regular holes that have appeared near the raised beds, his small brown head coming up with the unhurried certainty of someone arriving at a scheduled appointment. He stays up for between 20 minutes and 2 hours, depending on factors we haven't fully identified. Then, he goes back down and the soil closes and the garden continues its work without us. The garden's work is considerable. In 6 weeks, the raised beds have produced more than they produced in the previous 2 years. Tomatoes the size of softballs, herbs that have grown past the top of their cages, a volunteer squash in the corner that appeared without planting and has taken over the fence in a way that Rosa described as aggressive and Prisha described as intentional. The soil quality in a 15-foot radius of Dig's primary hole has changed completely. Prisha had it tested in week 4. The results made the soil testing company ask if we had done something unusual to the soil. Prisha said no. This was technically true. He eats. We discovered this in week 2 when Prisha left a small pile of vegetable scraps near one of the holes and came out the next morning to find it gone. The soil nearby slightly disturbed in the specific way of something that ate from the surface and returned below. We have been leaving vegetable scraps every evening since. Carrot tops, cucumber ends, the dark leafy parts of things. It disappears every night. The soil near the holes gets slightly better every week. He has never been fully above ground. Rosa is coming over on Friday. The vegetable scraps go out at 6 p.m. Prisha has 26 pages now. If you found something, leave a comment. We read all of them. Dig surfaces every evening. If you're patient and quiet, he stays longer. Subscribe. The garden is watching.
Not writing, just watching. Dig stays up, past the 20-minute mark, past the 40-minute mark, in the patient quiet of the Portland evening.